First step in our mobility program is hitting the shoulders. We're going to roll out with our lacrosse ball the upper portion of our shoulder, specifically the posterior region. We're going to roll back and forth and rock and find those sticky spots that hurt. And when you do, you can kind of lean into that and breathe. Complete this on the other side. Up next, we are now going to mobilize the shoulder. And we're going to do that by taking our band and working on internal and external rotation of the shoulder joint. We want to make sure that we have enough traction in the band by being far enough away to feel that pull, and it will help decompress our joints in our shoulder and our elbow. We're continuing with our mobilization by taking the band and doing single arm around the worlds. So you want to grab the band in a way where you feel that strong traction again. So you can do that according to your taste and what you can handle. But the more traction that you get, the more it's going to help you with getting more range of motion in your shoulders. Another thing to note in this drill is maintaining good posture. What we don't want is excessive lower back curvature, so basically hyperextension. We can think about connecting the bottom part of our rib cage to our hip bone or a posterior pelvic tilt, and that will maintain good frontal line connection and keep us tall and straight. Lastly, we want to stabilize our shoulders. We worked on prepping them with the lacrosse ball, we did mobilization, and now we want to focus on stabilizing in those end ranges of motion and to make sure that we can actually control it. With the bands, this is really helpful because we got that traction and that pull, and we've got to resist that by stabilizing. We begin this three-step process again now with our hips. We're going to take our lacrosse ball and we're going to go onto the side of our hip, probably close to the piriformis area. And again, we're going to rock back and forth, finding those icky areas and then leaning and pressurizing into it when we find it. Now we're going on to mobilize the leg in its socket. This is one of my favorite drills to do with the band. It really provides that extra traction and feedback. So we want to drive our heel into the ground and feel that immense resistance to the internal and external rotation that we're doing right here. So you can make this more challenging by fighting the movement and not just passively letting your foot touch the ground and go back up. You also want to make sure that you're dorsiflexing, so that's pulling the toes towards you. This bodyweight drill works on the abductors, so that's the muscles on the outside of the hip. And with this drill, again, we want to think about pushing our knee and our leg into a resistance, a wall or something firm. Don't passively go back and forth with this drill. So we want to keep our foot planted and really drive and create a lot of tension when we open our hip up. The main cue you want to think about with this drill is keeping your leg and your knee, the one that's at the 90-degree angle, pressed into the floor. We're going to keep our toes flexed and we're going to keep that knee pressed into the floor as we just elevate our heel. We're driving our knee into the ground, elevating our heel as much as possible to see what kind of rotation we get. We're finishing here by stabilizing our hips by using stick mobility or PVC pipes or wooden dowels. Any of those are fine. We're working on our internal and external rotators, and we're going to get a deep connection with our frontal line by pushing into the sticks into the wall. So we get a tremendous amount of abs and our hips stabilizing these motions through this drill. I hope you enjoyed this program. Thank you for joining me.